presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Florida.
Last night in Miami, the Marlins got a taste of why the Houston Astros have the best record in baseball. An early lead was wiped out. A Ulieski Gurriel grand slam did the trick, and the Astros got game one. This would be game two, Miami and Houston. Jose Altuve is in the house. Christian Yelich and the Fish trying to even the series. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Todd Hollinsworth. Welcome to Miami. We got a taste of why Houston is the #1 team record-wise in Major League Baseball as well.
Yeah, they don't do a lot of things wrong, and it really puts a lot of pressure on your team to play that type of game. You can't go out there and make mistakes. You can't walk hitters. They're going to take full advantage of that. That's why they're the best team in baseball. That's why they have the best record. Good teams do that. They don't beat themselves. So, formula for success, absolutely, for the Marlins tonight. Don't make some of those mistakes that you can avoid.
Best team in baseball has maybe the best pitcher in baseball going tonight, Dallas Keuchel. As a result, Miami's lineup has a few tweaks to it because he is death on left-handed hitters.
Yeah, lefties only have 4 hits against him this year. That's a 114 batting average against. So, unfortunately for the Marlins, one of their hottest hitters, Justin Bour, does not get the opportunity to be in that lineup tonight. He's really swinging the bat. But you know what? I had this happen to me a few times in my career. Protect the swing. You know what? Just give him a day off. It's against the left. You don't make too much out of it. But you know what? Dallas Keuchel, boy, he has been in a groove lately, and it's not a bad day to take off.
And the timeline for Keuchel is this. Cy Young in 15. Shoulder didn't feel great last year, an average season. Guess what? Shoulder's great, and so is he again this year.
Yeah, he has not lost. You see the record, 6-0. American League Pitcher of the Month for the month of April. Cy Young goes well with Dallas Keuchel. He's won it before, and he's having that type of season already again this year.
Marlins take aim at the Astros ace tonight, and we await your participation. That's right, it's emails and tweets. And our theme tonight is Best in Baseball. Who is the best team in baseball? Join the discussion with us, Astros and Fish.
on Twitter Tuesday, and tonight the conversation is all about the best in baseball. Who are the hottest teams in both the American League and the National League? Tell us what you think. Send your tweets to @FoxMarlins. Your emails can go to foxmarlins@gmail.com. And don't forget to use tonight's hashtag #BestInBaseball. And the Marlins' opponent tonight, the Houston Astros, could certainly make the argument for being the best in baseball. They're 27-12. That is the best record in the league. Really a complete team. And for the National League, how about the Washington Nationals? Really an offensive powerhouse. For more on this topic, let's check in now with Craig Minervini and Jeff Conine. Guys, what do you think? Who is the best in baseball?
All right, Niner, you take it first.
Well, she stole my pick. She said about the Houston Astros, of course, with the best record right now. But the Washington Nationals, for me, in the National League East, unfortunately for the Miami Marlins, they're in the same division. But I think that team, top to bottom, is so deep. Pitching staff, offense, they got it all. I think that's the strongest team in baseball.
And they haven't even pitched as well as they can. That's the scary part to me. I have to go with them as well. I'm not ruling out the World Series champs yet. Cubs haven't hit. They've pitched very well. They're hitting 236 as a team. They're better than that. So we'll see. But we'll throw it back to Jessica. I thought you were going to say the Oakland A's, Jessica, based on
because I have the green
your outfit here tonight.
Clever, very clever, Craig. Well, hopefully tonight the Marlins can give the Astros a run for their money. Coming up next, it is first pitch between the Marlins and the Astros in Game 2 of a 3-game series. Marlins looking to bounce back. It's Tom Koehler versus Dallas Keuchel, and it's Rich Waltz and Todd Hollingsworth on the call.
Game 2 of a 3-game set in a tall order for the Fish. Emails and tweets tonight. And here are the Astros. Best start ever in Houston. Southwest brings you their starting lineup. Josh Reddick is up in the leadoff spot. Carlos Beltran in left field. Jose Altuve at second. Carlos Correa at shortstop. Brian McCann is back in there tonight. He hits fifth. Yuli Gurriel, the grand slam last night. The ever versatile and really good Marwin Gonzalez, riding a 10-game hit streak, is at third base. Former Marlin Jake Marisnick is in center. Dallas Keuchel hits ninth.
On the mound for the Marlins, Tom Koehler. Think back to that last start, first time through the lineup. Absolutely dominant. That's what we're all hoping to see again. Struck out the first 4 batters he faced, struck out 5 of the first 9, used all of his pitches so well, and got into a really good rhythm. Now, that's what we're certainly hoping for. Tom Koehler, again, some of those issues, you see the final line there, 5 1/3 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned runs. That leadoff hitter is something he needs to really work on, bear down, and kind of get that guy.
Miami defensively tonight with Koehler on the mound. There's a few new names in there.
Let's check out the Marlins defensively tonight. Ozuna, Yelich, and Stanton. That is your outfield of Vilas, Riddle, Gordon, and more around the infield. JT Realmuto will be doing the catching. Tom Koehler on the mound. More right-handed bats in the Marlins lineup.
And so Tom Koehler against a lineup that was certainly shut down by Dan Straley for 5 innings and then erupted against Miami's bullpen. Josh Reddick, Tom Koehler, and a fastball is laced into center field for a base hit. Reddick hunting a first pitch fastball, got one.
Well, Houston Astros may be playing to the scouting report just a little bit. Leadoff hitters in an inning, not just leading off a baseball game. .448 batting average coming into tonight against Tom Koehler. You see Josh Reddick right there, and the aggressiveness. He's an on-base percentage guy and usually likes to take pitches atop that lineup. Got a good fastball right there and put the barrel on him.
Reddick's hit streak is stretched now to 8 straight. It's such a versatile lineup for A.J. Hinch. Last night, George Springer was in the leadoff spot. Springer not in the lineup tonight. Reddick slides to hit leadoff. Beltran behind him, and Beltran drills one right center field deep. Yelich with room, calls off Stanton. Reddick tags, and he'll hold at first base. So Koehler has thrown 2 pitches. The Astros have gone after both of them. A single by Reddick and a long fly ball out from Beltran.
Well, if there were things that you would say that Tom Koehler certainly wants to make sure that he checks the boxes tonight, it would be the left-handed hitters and those leadoff hitters, as I just told you about. Left-handed hitters, .321 average, 6 home runs. He's really struggled with those left-handed hitters. So 2 lefties, they're looking to be aggressive. Got a couple fastballs right there.
Jose Altuve got a fastball off his wrist in the first inning, but he came back to exact revenge with a 2-run single in the 7th and a solo homer in the 9th. He goes after a first pitch fastball. Are you recognizing a trend here? That one into the seats.
Well,
and it counts 0-1.
You know, and that's just it. I mean, it is my job to bring the stats and to bring the information every night so our great fans, our great Marlin fans, know what teams are looking to do against the Marlins. And in fact, that's what the numbers tell you. Be a little bit more aggressive early in the count. Tom Koehler did a fantastic job mixing his pitches last time out. St. Louis Cardinals were not so aggressive.
Altuve running up the bunt, hops out of the way of that fastball. It wouldn't be surprising if the Astros, who don't bunt a lot, test Micah Vilas at third base tonight.
This Houston Astros team knows how to apply pressure offensively in a variety of ways. A few different guys can bunt. They will run with a few guys. They'll put some guys in motion. And I agree. I think you're going to see that tonight.
Dave Hudgens, the hitting coach for the Astros. It's funny, no one would say this about a 5'6" guy, and Altuve may even be 5'5", but with a guy with his type of power, a lot of people will say, hey, we don't mind it if he bunts.
Pound for pound, he's got more power than anybody in the game.
1-2.
Said it last night, I'll say it again. He hit a ball over the flamingos in the home run sculpture. It's honestly, it's incredible. I mean, when you sit back there and you think about it, you watch batting practice, you come down on the field and you watch Jose Altuve, what he's done in his career, what he does on a nightly basis, and you see how far he can hit a baseball. It's impressive.
Runner goes, Altuve hits and punches it into right field. Perfectly done. Reddick arrives at third base. That's a 2-strike hit and run. You don't see that often.
Well, you almost might call that a little bit of a run and hit. Now you're going to see this huge hole over here, right here. See D. Gordon over there. playing a little bit towards second base. It gives him something to shoot for. Now, where's this pitch? Tom Koehler pitches away on purpose. That's actually what he was trying to do. The runner takes D to second base, and it creates a huge hole. He was going slider away right there. Jose Altuve finds a little daylight on the right side of the infield. If everything stays the same, it's a ground ball to the second baseman.
As it is now, the Astros, with the creative swing by Altuve, have him at the corners, one out. And here's Carlos Correa, the young shortstop, who swings and misses, who chased a lot of pitches out of the zone last night. Correa struck out twice, walked a couple of times.
Nice job by Tom Koehler going right back to that slider to get ahead.
And of course, Altuve might not be anchored at first base very long. He's swiped 9 bags this year. Stole 30 last year. And there's the month of May that Correa is having.
One of the biggest differences I've noticed in this Astros team from one year to the next is the freedom that I think they're playing with. And part of that is the Carlos Beltran effect or the Josh Reddick effect. And what I mean by that is, when you're a young player, a lot of times you'll play not to make mistakes. You might be a really good athlete. You might be able to steal some bases, but you always maintain in the back of your mind, don't screw this up. Don't make a mistake. What you see with the Astros right now is they're not afraid to make a mistake.
Into center, actually off the bag, and it rolls into center field. That's going to allow Altuve to get to third base. That ball was stroked hard. Correa an RBI single, and Houston has handed Dallas Keuchel a 1-0 lead and still threatening.
Well, this is a big curveball right there that stays at the top of the zone, drops in about the thigh. Correa stays through the middle, able to get it off the second base bag, redirect it into shallow left center field. That's going to allow Altuve to get all the way over to third base.
And so the Astros pick up where they left off last night. Swinging the bat hot, hitting the ball hard, and scoring here in the first. McCann goes after a first pitch fastball as well, and he fouls that one off. Brian McCann, 6 at-bats against Tom Koehler, 1 for 6. And the first inning blues that you pointed out continue. Correa the runner at first. Altuve over at third. Koehler misses away. Juan Nieves, Don Mattingly. McCann lays off, and it's 2-1. Marlins have shifted for the former Yankee, and of course Marlin fans know him better as a former Brave. You can see Riddle has joined Gordon over on that right side. There's a strike. It's 2-2.
Now, the other thing that's really changed for this Houston Astros team in relation to the last few seasons, they don't strike out like they used to. Last 2 seasons, 29th, 30th, they'll rack up some strikeouts. This year they're actually 27th in baseball, meaning they're making so much more contact.
Count stays at 2-2. Well, the Astros had the best record in baseball last night, and they won, so at 27-12. 12 wins in their last 15 ball games. And an enormous 8-game lead in the West. The Angels are a game under and 8 back. Fastball in. AJ Hinch, remember last year Texas was the team that Houston just couldn't beat. And the Astros finished with 84 wins, 3rd in the West. They were 4-15 against Texas.
Well, this is a different season. This is a team on a mission. The Astros, you saw them standing atop the American League West. 17-6 against their own division this year.
Hinch looking at both runners on the corners here. Full count, 1 out. Let's see who's running. It's Correa from first, and Koehler steps off. McCann, a solid start. He's popped 6 homers already. Runner goes. McCann drills it right center field. That's a hit. Altuve scores. Correa to third. And Houston just keeps swapping spots. First and third, 1 out. First and third, 1 out. And first and third, 1 out.
Well, this is going to be a breaking ball that Brian McCann gets. First in motion. You see it. It's off the outside. Brian McCann, one of the best pull hitters I ever played with. I'll tell you what, there's nothing he can't pull when he's thinking that way. And you see him get that barrel out and around that curveball right there and able to line it into right center field and to keep the merry-go-round going. In a lot of ways, a offensive philosophy. This is essentially what you want. You love the 3-run home runs, but this is applied pressure right now to Tom Koehler. He is feeling it with runners in scoring position. Every hitter right now.
Koehler misses out. 18 pitches in. The Astros have a couple runs. And there's just 1 out. Gurriel, a star in Cuba. 2nd season in Houston. And of course, last night, a big moment with the bags loaded and a struggling Junichi Tazawa out there. And Gurriel lost it.
Has an impressive at bat right there. That was a 2-1 pitch, waited. I mean, you could see the patience leading up to that moment. He was not going to chase the splitty. He wasn't going after a curveball. He was waiting for a first good fastball to take a healthy swing at, and that was the one right there.
Takes a shot at the right side. And the count 2-1. Gurriel is a veteran hitter, a veteran of international play. Longtime player down in Serie Nacional in Cuba. 3 World Baseball Classics. His dad, a great figure in Cuban baseball. Lourdes, his younger brother Lourdes, signed with the Blue Jays, is 23 years old. Gurriel to left field. Ozuna coming in. Runner tags. Ozuna got a good arm and holding at third is Correa. Back to first goes McCann. The fact that Ozuna had a head of steam coming forward probably helped Gary Pettis, the third base coach, make that decision.
You're absolutely right, Rich. That's exactly what you're looking for. He prepares himself for this throw perfectly. Now, it's not a perfect throw, again, playing it through, but in order to send that runner right there, you're hoping that he either gets maybe a little bit too far underneath the ball or his steps are off just a bit. He was flawless on his preparation.
Marwin Gonzalez now. Guy that plays everywhere. And wherever he plays quite well. He's got a 10-game hit streak. He actually has seen Koehler 3 times and has a couple hits. It's a breaking ball down low. 28-year-old Venezuelan.
A.J. Hinch doing everything in his power to get all his lefties into the lineup tonight. Marwin Gonzalez, one of their hottest hitters all season long. See the power, 9 home runs on the season. With the switch hitters, you have 5 lefties in the lineup.
A lot of times you identify a player like this and say, boy, he'd be more valuable in the National League. But I mean, you remember in St. Pete how Joe Madden used Ben Zobrist. Gonzalez into center field. That's a hit. Another run comes in, and it's 3-0 Astros.
5th hit for the Houston Astros here in the 1st inning. All singles. Result 3 runs. Center cut fastball. You see JT Realmuto reaching back to the middle of the plate. See that right there? He wanted that fastball away. It misses out over the plate. With the league's hottest hitters right there. Did not miss it.
Juan Nieves is out to talk to Tom Koehler. Last night, Dan Straley for 5 innings. And the Marlins turned to their bullpen. Tazawa, Ziegler, McGowan. McGowan is not available tonight. He's kind of the long guy for the Fish. Jake Marisnick now was a Marlin for parts of 2 seasons, 2013, 2014. Marisnick, a valuable role player for Houston, a top-notch defender in the outfield, plays the heck out of center field. He can run. He gets spot duty, gives guys off days, and you see him come in oftentimes in a double switch, or, well, look, in a double switch in a National League game like last night. In the American League, he'll come in simply as a defensive replacement, 8th or 9th inning. Breaking ball, strike, 2-1.
Well, he's a defensive asset, big time, to this ball club. Consider what their outfield looks like. Carlos Beltran playing tonight in left field, for example. He can back him up. But the other thing that you realize is this: he's still young enough, and you're still hoping on his offense that maybe it gets a little bit better at some time. You can hold on to him as an organization when you maintain the depth that you have in your starters, and it allows him to be part of your organization. You like the player. You know his bat hasn't played at the big league level yet, but it buys you some time, and you hope that maybe he sponges off some of these veterans on this team and maybe gets that bat going just a little bit. You kind of reminds me of Kevin Kiermaier just a bit. Tampa Bay Rays.
2-2 foul tip into the glove of Real Muto. The Astros get 3 right out of the gate. Dallas Keuchel gets the ball next. D. Gordon here in the bottom of the first, getting ready to lead it off. Gordon followed by JT Real Muto. Christian Yelich is in the 3 spot. Marcell Ozuna cleanup. Giancarlo Stanton is in right. Justin Bour with Keuchel on the mound gives way to Tyler Moore. And Micah Vilas gets a start at third base in place of Derek Dietrich. JT Riddle last night with 3 hits, including his first career double. Tom Koehler slotted in the 9 spots.
Well, there he is, Dallas Keuchel. You see the starts, already has 1 complete game on the season, 6-0 record, has not lost in his last 10 starts, 1.69 ERA. Now, this is about ground balls and more ground balls. This is what he does best. You're going to see the fastball, you'll see the cutter tonight, the slider and the change. He mixes it, but one thing he does particularly well is he does not live above the knees.
D. Gordon takes in with Real Muto and Yelich to follow. Keuchel, 29, University of Arkansas is where he played his college ball.
That's where Dallas Keuchel lives. Going to live right there on those edges all night long.
And a strike.
Very deliberate to the bottom half of the strike zone.
Always in the league leaders in terms of ground ball percentage. Last year he finished second. Only Marcus Stroman got more ground balls than he did.
I was just looking at that number, so I appreciate the great pass you just gave me, a little alley-oop. 3.1 to 1 so far this season. I mean, he has been absolutely masterful. I'll put this in terms so we all get it. 96 ground ball outs, 31 fly ball outs.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's.
And you can see that downward movement here in the Gordon at bat. D fouls it off.
Well, that's really the difference, maybe even going back to last year and some of the struggles where you would see the errant fastball and occasionally working up in the zone. I'm going to get into the intent because I'm not too sure of it, but what you've seen from him this season is hands down working the lower half of the zone, and he's not moving off it.
3-2. Gordon, little tapper. Keuchel is a Gold Glover, and he throws it away down the right field line. D. Gordon racing around second, on his way to third. Altuve's throw, and he's in there. Well, you rarely see Keuchel make a mistake like that, but he gave Gurriel not much of a chance to make that play.
Well, he has to go to the quick throw. You see him field it in his glove and get rid of it. D. Gordon puts all the pressure on him by busting it out of the box. That's what you want to see, hustling all the way. See how fast he even tapped it and then just pulled it. Once that front side opened up, he yanked the throw down the line.
So Miami with a good start here. Gordon's at third. Real Muto, Yelich, and Ozuna now against Keuchel. It'll be an infield hit and a throwing error. And Real Muto with a chance to knock in a run. Dallas Keuchel is out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Bishop Kelly High School. He's a few years older than Real Muto. JT saw him pitch when he was in middle school. Saw him pitch against the high school that JT would end up going to in Midwest City, Oklahoma.
Willing to bet he didn't have the beard back then.
Probably not. Breaking ball hit hard into left field for a hit, and Real Muto gives Miami a run, and it's 3-1.
Well, a little bit unexpected, but good to see that offense just getting after it here early in this ball game. Hanging breaking ball. I said it, my oh my, this is a big time mistake from Dallas Keuchel. He does not live up there, and nor does he want to make pitches up there. JT Real Muto jumped all over that breaking ball and bangs it into left field and picks up an RBI along with it. One hopper.
So Miami has 2 hits against Keuchel, and that's the first run allowed in the first inning for Keuchel this year. How about that?
Well, it's not surprising when you get into his numbers. I mean, it's simply put, he's just been that dominant. Most of the home run, or excuse me, most of the runs he's given up this year really have just been a byproduct of the long ball.
Before the Gordon at bat, left-handed hitters against Keuchel this year were 4 for 35, and that's why Don Mattingly took some of the lefty bats out of the lineup. But Gordon remains, Yelich remains, and JT Riddle remain. Now Gordon's hit a little 20-foot dribbler out in front of home plate. Got Real Muto at first, Yelich with an 0-2 count.
Well, Dallas Keuchel is the type of pitcher that makes you feel uncomfortable because of what he features. He just gets results.
In that natural cut on that fastball into lefties. Look at that. Lefties hitting 114.
And so far, Marlins have manufactured a run, but both balls on the ground.
And Yelich fouls it into the glove of McCann.
All right, let's take a look at the Houston Astros defensively behind Dallas Keuchel. Carlos Beltran gets the rare start in left field. See if the Marlins can't maybe make him run a little bit out there. Marisnick gets the start in center field. Josh Reddick over and right. Gonzalez, Correa, Altuve, and Gurriel. Ryan McCann behind the plate for Dallas Keuchel.
Ozuna turns on one and pumps it up into the seats.
Now, when you consider the home ballpark for the Houston Astros, Carlos Beltran getting the start in left field wouldn't surprise you. It's one of the shorter left fields there is in Houston, with the Crawford boxes out there. Short little porch. They can hide him over there and let the center fielder do a lot of the heavy lifting out there. So 8th game tonight in left field, 6th start. Prior to the season, 2 starts in left.
That's a little dribbler, and that's trouble. Keuchel's going to let it die, and it rolls foul, just foul.
That is unbelievable.
That is.
That's the last spin that was left on the ball. There was nothing left. I mean, that's amazing.
It had made the journey all the way up the line.
Watch this. This is the last spin of the ball. Fair, 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 fair. Gets a little momentum off the edge. That ball stops. Unbelievable.
And so Ozuna back at home plate with a count 0-2. Ball in the dirt, and Real Muto is going to trot down to second base. Guys just don't run against Keuchel. He has such a quick delivery to the plate. And so the Marlins get 90 feet of real estate on this a wild pitch.
Literally 0 for 1.
Right.
Nobody's stolen a base against Dallas Keuchel this season. In fact, only one person's even tried.
Here's the amazing thing about Keuchel in the running game. Look, he's a Gold Glover. He's won 3 consecutive Gold Gloves. People don't run on him much at all. He's never picked a runner off in the big leagues. 1-2. Breaking ball, and Ozuna scorches it foul. We will get to our emails and tweets once we get out of this first inning, get into the second.
Marcell Ozuna, one of the best Marlins with runners in scoring position this season.
Goes after an outside pitch, rolls it up the middle. Correa to first, in the dirt, and he's safe. Hustling all the way, Ozuna beats it, and that'll be a base hit.
Oh yes, beats this quite convincingly. See the foot down already before the ball even gets to the glove. Hustle, hustle, hustling all the way. Great to see Marcell Ozuna busted out of the box like that. Pitch was a little bit away from him, so you see him reaching, so you get a little cheat step as a right-handed hitter right there when you reach, because you're on your way to first base, and well, it saves him right there. Correa did everything in his power to get that ball across the diamond as quickly as he could, but Ozuna put pressure on him by busting it out of the box.
Now Stanton. Stanton, a one-hopper to first, out to second, it's thrown away there, and everybody is safe. Gurriel's throw, There was a log jam at second. It ended up being Altuve at the bag because of the shift for Stanton, but Correa was there as well.
Well, Marwin Gonzalez kind of checks the runner at third, then decides, you know what, we got a shot at turning two. You got Correa and Altuve both at second base, but it doesn't matter. It's a tough throw, and it's off the bag. Right there, takes him all the way off the bag. It's Gurriel over there. And everybody's safe. This is uncharacteristic of the Houston Astros.
But the Marlins have 2 runs back. It's an E3 on the throw. And you would think an RBI. Here's Moore now. Well, the Marlins getting Moore's bat in the lineup against the lefty. And in limited play, Moore has been quite effective as a pinch hitter for sure. Two and 0. All right, before this goes any further, AutoNation scouting report.
Let's get it out there as quickly as possible, living on the edges. Well, we've talked about it already. Just at the strike zone or just outside that strike zone, 100% at the knees. That's where he wants to operate. Routinely in the top 5, throwing the first pitches just off the outside corner. That's where he wants to go most of the time.
Popped up foul and out of play.
Throw number 2 in there is he's your Cy Young from 2015 and certainly pitching like it this year. And the last key, number 57. Honor when he was in the minor leagues. I thought this was a really cool nugget here. Wore number 57. It was given to him because of Darryl Kyle, and they saw a lot of in Dallas Keuchel, who, by the way, has the exact same initials as Darryl Kyle in him. So they gave him that number 57. Now, he does not wear that at the big league level. That is not a possibility.
2-1 pitch. Moore rolls it out to Altuve, flips it. Correa across the bag, turns it, and the Astros are out of the inning. But Keuchel gives up 2, and the Marlins are within 1. That was an adventurous first inning. In the first inning, here the second. Got the old school Astros look. Not the tall boy, but the that star and the orange and the red and the navy. Bringing back, you mentioned Darryl Kyle, the late Darryl Kyle, but there's some great Astro memories. The Houston Astros have been around ever since they arrived as the Colt 45s. And they've not won a world championship. Although Sports Illustrated back in 2014 with George Springer on the cover said the 2017 world champions. And a lot of people laughed. Well, it's 2017 and they have the best record in baseball.
Now, still a lot to be accomplished. A lot of work to do, a lot of going on, but off to a fantastic start. That is undeniable. Looked like one of the most complete teams in all of baseball right now. Other than that last inning, we witnessed 2 errors.
Good breaking ball. Koehler strikes out Keuchel. And that's the second strikeout for Tom Koehler. The Astros banged out 5 hits, all singles, and scored 3 times in the first. And here is Josh Reddick, who hit the first pitch that he saw for a base hit. We have emails and tweets to get to. Let me find a good first tweet of the night. Hashtag best in baseball. Theme tonight. You don't have to participate in the theme. You can send us an email on anything. But we're curious to know who you think the best team is in baseball. A lot of Cubs tweets already. Alan has this. Now this is a technical question. I have no idea what the answer is, but this is for the truck. There's a strike. Alan wants to know, can you let the pitch speed stay in a little bit longer? Alan, the answer from the truck is right now they are efforting and working on it. So we'll give it our best shot. Friday, June 3rd, Marlins and Diamondbacks at 7:10. The first 10,000 fans get a commemorative Giancarlo Stanton 2016 Home Run Derby bobblehead, courtesy of Fox Sports Florida. Hey, that's us. Get your tickets today at marlins.com. Beltran now. Beltran a fly ball out back in the first. First time through, the Astros really ambushed Koehler on first pitch fastballs.
Well, they ambushed his 4-seam fastball, not his 2-seam fastball, and that's what Tom Koehler is doing now. See here in the second inning, he's starting hitters off with the 2-seam fastball. You see it running off that corner just a little bit, but to change up the sequencing.
Kevin has a tweet. I'm curious to know how many times this team shows up on this list tonight. His best team in the American League, the Astros. His best team in the National League, Cubs. Cubs are like the SEC team that loses twice and still is in the top 25, right?
Well, everybody's just waiting. Listen, the Cubs are off to an 18-19 start, as you see right there, 3.5 games back to the National League Central. Thing that you could look at and say, well, you know, is anybody running away with the division? It's, you know, talking to people that I know around Chicago, they've said to me they haven't played very good baseball. There's a lot of things that you know, aren't going right for them, and that's the reflection, is that they're only 3.5 games back. And I think that's what they're still saying to themselves is, when they get right, watch out. This Cubs team will take that National League Central back over again.
Beltran at first. This is Altuve, and he turns on one and dribbles it foul. Barbietz wants to know, why would the Marlins have their hottest hitter on the bench tonight? I'm talking about Justin Moore.
Tried to handle that in the open, but it's as simple as this. Dallas Keuchel is as tough on lefties as any lefty there is, and it's not about who's hot and who's not. It's just simply the big guy gets a day off. You'd like for it to be against maybe one of the tougher lefties in the game, and why not? I don't think Justin Moore would feel uncomfortable against Dallas Keuchel tonight.
As well, it's a chance to get more against lefties, because you can't really put more in the outfield. You've got the 3 outfielders who are playing every day, so it's a little combination there too. Altuve takes down low. Koehler thought he had that 0-2 pitch. And the count now 2-2.
Not necessarily a huge, you know, believer in this, but I did hear it from my manager a couple of different times, and it was something like this: you're really swinging the bat right now. We don't want you to mess up your stroke.
This note, technically, we've added a 1.5 seconds to the pitch speed staying on the Fox box in the lower right corner. So you ask, and our crack staff in the truck delivers.
Can I put in a request to the staff in the truck?
For what? A cold
pepperoni
drink?
pizza.
Yeah.
No?
No. 3-2, runners on the move, and Altuve takes out. And so Koehler got the first 2 outs of the second. A walk to Beltran, and now a walk to Altuve, and here comes Correa.
Now, I think this is a pretty good example of how relentless this Astros lineup is. There's no breaks. Pitch very carefully to Carlos Beltran, obviously Altuve.
Well, Correa was among the parade of singlers, if that's a word, in the first.
We'll make it one.
Hitting a sharp line drive for a hit, knock in a run. Sky seems to be the limit for this 22-year-old out of Puerto Rico. First overall pick in 2012. Rookie of the year in just 99 games when he popped 22 homers in 2015. 20 homers last year, 36 doubles.
He's number 4 hitter in the best team in all of baseball.
He's 22.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm getting at. I mean, it really is amazing. 19 RBIs in his last 21 ball games. You know, you look at the 22-year-old. I mean, how many 22-year-olds? And listen, look around baseball and gather up all the 22-year-olds and start, you know, judging them however you want to judge them. He's the number 4 hitter on the best team in baseball right now, and I think that's really all you have to say. Tons of talent, tons of athleticism, tons of power, and he's just tapping into that potential.
1-2.
Nice job right there by Tom Koehler, finding that outside corner. Pitcher's pitch. Big spot right here with runners on first and second. Marlins just scored a couple runs in the bottom of the inning.
Big Nate just tweeted, can you remove the pitch speed a little faster? Come on, Nate.
I like it. Way to go, Nate. Well, he started taking requests early tonight.
That's right. 1-2. In the dirt. So this had the makings of a quick inning, but now, and remember, it's only the top of the second. Koehler's pitch total has crossed the 50 pitch threshold and is climbing right now at 53.
Well, this is the newfound pressure that this Astros lineup applies. You can go back to last year and start to find examples of this, but this is what they do. It's not just about the long ball. They apply pressure in lots of different ways. See how they're working the counts back. You're right. They're not chasing. Mentioned this at the beginning of the series last night. Mentioned it again right now. They don't strike out like they used to. Well, in order to become that with the same group of players, it's not just as simple as bringing, you know, veterans in and talking about how you're going to do it. You actually have to go out there and execute it, and they are.
Runners on the move, fastballs up. Koehler has walked the bases loaded here. After 2 are out, Beltran, Altuve, and Correa. Now he has to tangle with Brian McCann. And that's one, if you sat down with Don Mattingly and Juan Nieves and told them, aside from wins and losses, there's one stat you could manipulate and wipe out or reduce, it would be walks allowed. Yeah. And that has been a problem from the get-go for a team that has walked more than any other.
Well, especially on the collective level, when you see that big number. Of course, you break it down to the individuals who are having issues with their command, but when you look at it, you recognize that the Marlins are that team at the top who are walking the most hitters. It is to be discussed. It's got to kind of get back under control.
So it's Koehler and McCann trying to keep it at 3-2. McCann, right center field, hit well. Stanton after it. Stanton dives and he doesn't get it, and it's all the way to the track. 3 runs will score. All 3 walks come across, and the Astros lead it 6-2. Stanton made a great attempt, got a good break in the gap, full out dive, and McCann picks up 3 RBIs.
You know, Brian McCann, the savvy veteran, knows Juan Nieves just visited the mound. Tom Koehler struggling with his command. Looks to be aggressive, a la the first inning for the Houston Astros. Get some pressure on Tom Koehler. Knows that he wants to get a hit in this situation and hunts a first pitch fastball, gets it, rockets it into the right center field gap.
Gurriel takes breaking ball. Boy, the Astros got 3 runs in the first, and you thought that's all that Dallas Keuchel needs. The Marlins got 2 back in the bottom of the first, and now Houston comes back, pickoff throw at second, and McCann's back in. Houston comes right back and puts 3 more up.
Well, without getting caught up in the score this early in the ballgame here in the second inning and kind of trying to understand what the Marlins have really been dealing with through this losing streak, this is an example of it. They bounced back against Dallas Keuchel, were able to score a couple of runs, get something going. This is really where you needed that shutdown inning, that quick in and out, get the Marlins offense back in the dugout and rolling again, and unfortunately unable to do that.
One, two. And remember, the Marlins' long man for most of the season is now in the rotation. Jose Urena, probably next up on that list. Dustin McGowan, and he threw a couple innings last night. It's probably not available. Koehler has already hit 60 pitches here. Gurriel sends it to right. Stanton is there, and he makes the catch. Houston increases their lead, and it's 6-2. This copyrighted telecast presented by the Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Billy, in case you haven't noticed, wherever the pretty girls are, that's where Billy the Marlin is swimming. Mike Aviles. Look at that. Even selfies. It's a little cumbersome with the bill, but Billy makes it work. Dallas Keuchel in the first. Couple of errors, including one from Keuchel. Miami had 3 hits. He got 2 runs. Aviles getting the start against the lefty. He is 2 for 7 in his career. That one ran off, and it's 2-1.
Some good history there. A couple of hits. Aviles against him.
We have a lot of tweets about the Fox Tracks, our strike tracking system. Keuchel has it. Flip on a first. Boy, he's not looking like a Gold Glover tonight.
A little flat-footed. Certainly took his time right there, but came up a little short on the throw.
We have tweets from Henry, from Joey, among others, who say, hey, the Rays, and I like this name, it's my batch of goodies, it's Alyssa. The Rays have their Fox Tracks up for the whole game. Why can't we?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Well, it's worth a discussion. We'll bring it up at the next.
I'm not afraid to ask. I'll ask. Who do we need to ask? Jimmy?
John Chimchuk is
No?
a great baseball historian, but
Jimmy?
he holds no technical sway on the
sorry,
show.
buddy.
Oh, 1 pitch. Riddle fouls it at the plate.
He does everything else for me. I sit next to him all game long. I mean, literally everything I ask, the man does. He's fantastic.
We'll bring it up at the next meeting. How's that? But no, we appreciate your input.
Let me take this opportunity to do the first shout out. Mitch and Brady enjoy the game. They're here tonight. Marlins Park enjoying the ball game.
0-2 to Riddle, and he just gets a piece of it. This is an interesting at bat here. You've got Riddle, a rookie, who had his best night in terms of number of hits in the big leagues with 3 last night. Remember, he had the walk-off homer against the Mets. It's hard to eclipse that as your best night. And now here he is against the toughest lefty on lefty matchup around. And Keuchel misses in. Koehler's on deck.
Go into this at bat, go into this game, and try to surprise some people. Numbers are going to tell you one thing, but you have an opportunity to do something great. That's what I used to always think, especially guys who had my number. And I used to always think, well, nobody's expecting you to do anything tonight. This guy is good against lefties, or he's got one of the best fastballs in the game. There's always a way of kind of relaxing your mind and just taking that pressure that you naturally put on yourself off when you just say to yourself, you know what, all right, nobody's expecting anything. Left-handed hitters are hitting 100 against him this year.
Ball in the dirt.
Go up there and put together good at-bats.
Now, one of the questions tonight for our email and Twitter Tuesday is, who's the best team in baseball right now? Cards fan for life says the Washington Nationals, rotation to die for, great bats, and fantastic manager.
One of the worst bullpens in baseball.
Here's the 2-2. But strike 3 called. And Riddle caught looking.
You don't see Dallas Keuchel do that often, go to the top of the strike zone, but had him set up for this. You see this, that was a little bit of a misfire, just kind of ended up there. He was supposed to go low and away. You see where this ends up going. Well, Cutter stays up there at the top. JT Riddle's eyes were down, down, down.
See, now that's, people were talking about the box with the strike zone and all the balls above the scoreboard. That's how we've used the technology this year, is that the strike box with the vapor trail, where the trail ends is where the ball crossed the strike zone. Koehler dribbles it up the first baseline. Count is 1 ball and 1 strike. So Washington Nationals, yeah, the bullpen is an issue. Other than that, though, it looks like Bryce Harper is back to being an MVP. The rotation is very, very good. I like the manager a lot. You played for
Dusty.
Dusty.
Very big fan, friend of mine.
Let's see how Koehler does on this one. This one he gets there. 6-2 Houston. Well, follow along, kids. Yoenis Cespedes could start a running program this week. Freddie Freeman stays hot, 14 home runs. That's up in Toronto. 9-5 lead over the Jays in that game tonight. And how about David Ross? Dancing with the Stars. He's into the final in Dancing with the Stars. Have you watched any of that?
Absolutely not. He's on fire, though. I have been following along, you know, like through Twitter and stuff like that. But no, I have not been watching. He is on fire, though. I'm not surprised. David Ross is a buddy of mine. I mean, everything for him is going so good right now.
Okay, give me your thoughts on the Washington Nationals.
Yeah, I completely agree. You know, the one thing, as I mentioned, I kind of threw it out there at the end, the bullpen, 5.33 ERA. That's 27th in baseball. They do have an issue down there, but what they're doing is they are pounding on people so much right now that it hasn't been nearly as big an issue, and it's one certainly that they're going to be able to fix. They've got one of the best rotations, and certainly and obviously one of the best offenses in all of baseball. And when you look at the National League East right now, is there anything in the National League East to stop the Washington Nationals? No. The Mets are working through their own issues right now.
Everybody has issues. The Marlins trying to solve their issues. And tonight, the issue is a 6-2 Houston lead going into the third. Astros have hung 3 in the first and 3 more in the second. And Koehler misses outside. Marwin Gonzalez, Jake Marisnick, and then Dallas Keuchel, 7, 8, 9.
Good changeup by Tom Koehler right there. Behind in the count, 1-0. Good spot to drop it in. It's the grip right there. You see the circle change. Marwin Gonzalez looking fastball, sitting fastball, getting changeup, fooled by the velocity.
If you're a kid at home and you're 10, 11 years old and you're a pitcher, how do you teach a youngster at that age to throw the changeup?
Well,
is because the circle grip change is not easy. Here's a 2-1.
My guys are going through it right now. Rich, I mean, I've got a 12-year-old, 14-year-old, soon to be 13 and 15. My guys, Ty and Tucker, going through that right now. I mean, their fingers, you know, they watch the game. They see the big leaguers. They hear Dad talking about knuckle curves and split finger fastballs and a cutter and a 2-seamer and a 4-seamer. And their coaches are telling them, you know, we only throw fastballs till you're 13, and you know, they're curious. They want to know how to throw a curveball, and their uncle Matt Hergis, who also pitched in the big leagues, has had a great curveball. They're always, you know, asking him how to do it. One piece of advice I'd heard about the changeup, and again, I was not a pitcher ever. I just didn't like it. So everybody seemed to pitch when they were a kid, at least a little bit. I'm the kid that never pitched. I really never did. But the one piece of advice I was given was to add a finger. That's just, it's as simple as doing that. If you're throwing a four-seam fastball, and most kids 10, 11, 12 years old are already getting to the point where they're no longer using the third finger to get on top of a baseball, and that's okay too. We're just talking about merely being able to grip the ball and throw it directionally straight. But if you're to the point now that you can throw a four-seam fastball and you can put two fingers on it, if you want to take a little bit of velocity off that and start working on a changeup, it's as simple as adding a finger. Just let that pinky drop off right there. You're not going to see the gap that you see at the major league level, where it's, if he's throwing 93, you're going to see an 83-mile-an-hour changeup, but you will start to see probably a little bit of movement and a little less velocity.
Now that's all well and good, adding a finger. I would expect that keeping the same arm slot, same delivery, same
good advice,
tempo is a key to having a successful changeup at that level and here in the major leagues as well.
It's all about masking the pitch, and that's the idea behind it. Even when you throw a slider, and if you watch
that ball crushed, Jake Marisnick drives it deep left center field, and it's gone. It bangs off of the home run sculpture. Marisnick, his third of the season. And it is 8-2 Houston. So another walk and the first homer of the night for the Astros.
Well, and the long ball has plagued Tom Koehler this year, the 10th that he has given up. You saw where that pitch was, at his belt. That is a go zone for almost all big league hitters. Out over the plate at the belt is going to get hit hard regularly, and Marisnick right there jumped all over it.
Keuchel takes out. Nobody out here in the third. Two home runs last night, Altuve and Gurriel. Marisnick tonight, 7 hits, 4 walks, and all 4 walks have scored.
All 4 walks have scored tonight against Tom Koehler. Well, anybody who's taken the mound for the Marlins in this series, other than Dan Straley, has been touched up. 15 runs, 14 hits in the last 6 1/3 innings. The Houston Astros.
Ricky's tweet is, how long is Don Mattingly's leash? And as we said, he's hamstrung a bit by the fact that his long man, Jose Urena, is in the rotation now, and Dustin McGowan threw a couple innings last night.
Nothing's really stirring in the Marlins bullpen.
So Don Mattingly's in a position where right now he doesn't have many great options. He's got a game tomorrow. There's no off day for the Marlins until next Monday. They play tomorrow against Houston, fly after the game, and open up a 4-game series against the Dodgers on Thursday night. So it's a good question, and how long is the leash? But at this point, if you burn through your bullpen, you affect Wednesday and Thursday and maybe even Friday. Now tomorrow we're on the air at 11:30. It's Lance McCullers and Jose Urena. 1-2 to Josh Reddick, who is 1 for 2. When it's the 3rd inning and it's your 3rd at bat, you know your team's having a good night. Reddick is up there for the 3rd time. Count stays 1-2. Alex with a tweet. Best in baseball. The Brewers. It's got the Brewers in there. Got power, good contact hitters, rotation, not bad. Not great, but not bad.
Not bad. And you know, I would add this. Good point. I certainly wouldn't argue it to this point in the season. But a lot of times what happens, and even with our list tonight, we've got some great teams up there on that list, is the fact that, you know, word gets out when you really start to play good baseball.
Reddick drives it left field, sending Ozuna back. He makes the catch.
Got to put everybody on point. Teams around the league that you're bringing it this year, that you've got a good team and things are going your way. You start to see a little different approach, maybe that second or third time through a team or you know, against your opposition. Keeping an eye on them, but asking for a little bit more time.
Here is Beltran, who was flied out and walked. Beltran continues to add to some pretty impressive totals in terms of overall career numbers. Only been an All-Star 9 times. Been to 6 postseasons. Gold Gloves, got 3 of them. This is his 20th year in the big leagues. And he still has that sweet swing. Stanton runs in and snares the line drive. But the Astros put 2 more up on a Jake Marisnick home run. Tickets can be used in May and June, and they're all on your smartphone. The Marlins Ballpark Pass. Get your 4 tickets. The Major League All-Star Fan Fest in July. Some restrictions apply. Ballpark Pass, $199, 20 tickets. Use them in May and June, and they get you 4 to Major League Baseball's All-Star Fan Fest. Rich Waltz, Todd Hollinsworth, Craig Minervini, Jessica Blaylock on email and Twitter Tuesday, and the Astros have jumped the Marlins. DeGord takes a fastball for a strike. Back into the tweets. Blake wants to know, when's Bark at the Park? Marlins have 2 of them scheduled, and they're always very successful here. August 27th against San Diego and June 3rd against Arizona. Gordon, a good bunt. Keuchel captures, flips, and is he out? He's out. Gurriel made the catch. A delayed call by DJ Rayburn, the first base umpire. I think he wanted to just make sure that Gurriel's foot was on the bag.
Well, some fancy glove work from Dallas Keuchel. Idea by D. Gordon. Able to kind of swinging bunt his way on the first time, put some pressure on Keuchel. Not this time, though. Uses the glove to catch, field, and throw. Shuffle toss to Gurriel right there. Able just get D. Gordon hustling down the line.
Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Well, Rich, Keuchel has not shown great leather so far in this game. He did certainly on that play. Good footwork, too. But he has won 3 Gold Gloves in a row. Maybe it dates back to the mid-90s. Dallas grew up with the son of Charlie O'Brien, the former Braves catcher, and Greg Maddix's catchers. You see the base hit by JT Realmuto. And Maddix, he got a chance to meet in the mid-90s. Won a record 18 Gold Gloves as the great fielding pitcher for mostly the Atlanta Braves. Now, you saw Keuchel not only with the glove, as you see there, getting one of his Gold Gloves, but he moves well on the field and on the dance floor as he won the Dancing with the Stros charity event. First time they held that back in 2013. You were talking about David Ross. Maybe Keuchel in the offseason, guys.
I like that. It's a nice title for the event, Dancing with the Stros.
I like it.
Yelich pulls one foul down the first base side. By the way, just to go back to that note on Bark at the Park, we told you June 3rd against Arizona, August 27th against San Diego. Both are Saturdays. And yes, there was a tweet about the Stanton bobblehead. That is a Saturday night, June 3rd, for the Stanton bobblehead, the All-Star home run 2016 version of the bobblehead. Just to make sure we're clear. Yelich pounds it foul. Christian struck out in the first. Keuchel tough against lefties. And I'm willing to bet when he's handed an 8-2 lead, he's got a pretty lopsided record. So the Marlins are in deep against one of the American League's very best. One of baseball's very best.
One thing you do know, he's going to continue to pound the strike zone.
Yelich fouls it off. Jason and Boca, can we? This is the first time that John Chimchuk has been in a tweet or an email. Can we ask John Chimchuk if 2 players from the same team are allowed in this year's home run derby? There is a precedent, right, Chimmy?
Wasn't there? I think there was a couple Cubs.
Yes.
Bryant and Rizzo, I believe, one year.
Bryant and Rizzo. There he is.
2015.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Chimchuk. Welcome him to the show.
The legend.
Yes.
There he is.
We sure missed him the first month.
Looking good.
Glad he's back. So Bryant and Rizzo. That's
feeling
the
good, right?
Atta baby, Jimmy. This is a good one. This is from Joe in St. Pete. What were the circumstances that led the Astros to becoming an American League team? Well,
that's a good question.
The unbalanced, for the longest time, there were more teams in the National League than the American League. And so to even it out, 15 apiece.
Wasn't there if I remember this correctly, this was obviously a few years ago. See the swing and the miss right there by Christian Yelich. There was the idea that there was an offer on the table to get a team to balance this out. And the Houston Astros were the ones that accepted the deal, if I remember this correctly. Of course, like I said, I'm doing my best to remember it without looking. And I believe that's really what it came down to. There was a few teams that were up for the opportunity to go over to the American League. And there was, I believe, again, like I said, an offer from Major League Baseball. There might have been money, I believe some finances involved in doing it. And the Houston Astros were the ones who ultimately accepted the deal.
Nick Wickren is up, and it looks like Nick Wickren's going to come in and pitch in the 4th. Realmuto is at first. Ozuna at the plate. Little tapper. Keuchel has been tested a lot on this, and he throws a strike there to first, and Miami's done in the 3rd. 8-2 Astros. early that it's a late breakfast with Craig Minervini. Who wouldn't want that, huh? 11:30 tomorrow. Let's go bowling. Big bowling event. Todd Callis, former Rays announcer, now the play-by-play voice on television for the Houston Astros. And we'll visit with him tomorrow. Let's check in with Jessica Blaylock. Jess?
Hey, Rich, now that we are a quarter of a way through the season, FoxSports.com has posted an article with its power rankings for all 30 teams in Major League Baseball. And no surprise here, the Houston Astros come in with that #1 spot. They have the best record in the league at 27-12. Right behind them are the Nationals, followed by the Yankees, Orioles, and the 5th best team in the league, well, that would be the Cardinals, who have been hot lately. Our theme tonight is Best in Baseball. Tell us who you think the hottest teams are in the MLB. Send your tweets to @FoxMarlins. Your emails can go to foxmarlins.com and use that hashtag #BestInBaseball. Guys?
All right, thank you. This is Nick Whitgren, takes over for Tom Koehler. 3 innings for Koehler. He gave up 8 runs on 7 hits. Koehler on the night walked 4. They all scored. And struck out 3.
You see the line right there, 83 pitches.
And so Whitgren is the first out of the pen. Altuve has singled and has walked. Hey, Altuve's wearing the arm guard, and as well he should. He got popped up in that left arm yesterday. It actually glanced off the wrist area, but you can see he's actually wearing it outside of his jersey.
He's the rookie at wearing the arm guard.
Yeah, it's like he wants to make sure it's a target. Look.
Well, he didn't have it on yesterday, so I mean, there you go.
2-2. Aviles across the diamond. All right, we're talking best in baseball. Obviously, the Astros have the best record. A.J. Hinch has done a really nice job. 3 things you need to know about the Astros. 590 total bases. Just about every offensive category, they're either first or second. Runs scored, batting average.
Doing a lot of things right now. You see it.
Here's Correa, and he takes a strike. Just to finish the thought on the question as to why the Astros moved over between the 2012-2013 season. Remember, baseball added an extra wild card, and that had a lot to do with it. They wanted, Major League Baseball wanted 15 teams in each. The ripple effect of that, a couple of things. Number one, where do you put them? They're not necessarily in the West in a geographic place, but the Rangers were already in the West, so that gave them a natural rival in their division.
And since they were changing ownership at that time, they were able to kind of weave the whole thing together nicely.
The other ripple was this: because there were 15 teams in each league, now you had to have an interleague game just about every day to make the schedule work.
You do. You have to, yeah. The American League team has to be playing a National League team every day.
It used to be interleague was in clusters. Remember, it'd be that stretch in June of almost 2 weeks where it was all interleague.
Right.
But a good question, and we'll continue to answer as many as we get, as often as we can. Whitgren with a 2-2 count on Carlos Correa.
I think the one thing that really stands out for me about this Astros team is how they have shown the dominance in the American League West. I mentioned a little bit earlier, 17-6 against their own division, the American League West. See him dial up that fastball, that low corner. Correa give up on it right there, and Whitgren makes his pitch. Nicely done.
We had the Giancarlo Stanton bobblehead promotion, and it is Saturday on June 3rd. Patty wants to know when the Jessica Blaylock bobblehead night will occur. That's still in the development stages.
Rich, I think that's a legitimate question. I've actually been wondering since the first day I started covering the Marlins when my bobblehead night was going to take place.
Well, look, now people are catching on to that, so maybe the groundswell will force. Well, let's be honest though. For anyone to have a bobblehead, first a sponsor has to come forward. So we need to find a sponsor for your bobblehead, and then you're in.
I'm gonna guess it's gonna be some type of ice cream or chocolate company.
Or maybe like a Petco or PetSmart because
That's
of you
true.
And your great dog Lemon, who I'm sure will be here at Bark in the Park.
Yes, she will, and the newest addition to the Blaylock family, Chester Copperpot. So I will have 2 pups with me at Bark at the Park. I want my bobblehead to be me and my dogs. I'm fine with admitting that.
Hey, look, don't beg. Just what you tell Chester, whatever his name is. Don't beg. A little flip to first. 8-2 Houston here. Is brought to you by Jeep. Get great deals on the Jeep lineup at the Jeep Spring Clearance Events by Kaiser University. Learn more at kaiseruniversity.edu and by your South Florida Chevy dealers. Houston on top, and the Astros jumped the Marlins from the very start. 3 runs in the first, 3 runs in the second, 2 more in the third. Giancarlo Stanton second at bat against Dallas Keuchel. And the fastball catches the corner. Tyler Moore, Mike Aviles will follow. The Fish have 2 runs on 4 hits against Keuchel. Keuchel's ERA coming in a slender 1.69, and that's in 8 starts. He's channeling his 2015 Cy Young self here in 2017. End of the bat. Stanton out front and out number 1 here in the 4th inning.
Well, Keuchel really settling in. Last 5 hitters. JT Realmuto did have a line drive base hit to center field, hard ground ball, a strikeout, and 3 ground balls back to the mound. 6 total tonight in 3 1/3 innings.
Tyler Moore now bounced into a double play. Emails and tweets tonight. We're talking a variety of subjects. Best team in baseball. Why do you feel that way? Moore, a sharp ground ball. Correa backs up, fires to first in time, and there's 2 outs. And any other concerns you have, we fixed the pitch speed on the Fox box for one viewer that wanted these miles per hour up there just a little longer.
But did we fix it for the one who wanted it slower?
No, because that I think was a more a sarcastic follow-up.
I thought we were do it all. We got to accommodate everybody.
No, we can't accommodate everybody.
Well, we try.
You'll learn, buddy. You'll learn. All right, Patrick's got a good one. Biggest surprise this year: the Yankees' success or the Blue Jays' struggles? Talk amongst yourself. Here's the 1-0 pitch.
For me, the Blue Jays struggle. That really is an eye-opener for me, because they're still one of the more talented teams in the American League, and to see them struggling the way that they are is quite surprising. The Yankees, they have young talent, and they have been contending for the last few seasons.
7 pitches that inning for Dallas Keuchel. He cruises through the 4th. This game's headed to the 5th. All Astros tonight. Here in Miami, Geico presents this date in Marlins history. The Hopper singled home the go-ahead run, earned the win in relief. Second time in club history a reliever had a game-winning RBI and a win. Richie Lewis did it back in the inaugural year of '93, and the Hopper did it in 2011. Yuri Gurriel, Real Muto, makes a catch.
Did I hear that correctly, that Hopper hit a hopper?
No, Hopper hit a line drive to center.
Oh, it was a line drive base.
It was a late night in New York. I just remember there
All
was,
the better.
I believe that was the game where there was a Met fan sitting behind the home plate with a crying baby mask on. And it was appropriate at the end of the night after Badenhop, whom the Marlins had run out of position players. Badenhop singles in the go-ahead run. He had pitched the previous half inning, and then he goes out and finishes. And it was a big moment for the Hopper. Maybe the biggest moment in Burt Badenhop's major league career. One of our favorite guys, and the only guy I've ever met who knew exactly every mascot in the minor leagues and the affiliates and the stadiums. Liner in the center off the bat of Marwin Gonzalez.
Now, if I tweet you and I ask you why, will you answer me?
Why what?
Why he had all that knowledge.
Oh. It was part of a minor league initiation. He had to know every team.
How about that?
And I'm telling you, he went to Bowling Green. He could sing the Bowling Green fight song for you. He was just one of those guys that had an incredible memory.
Well, you knew there had to be a reason why he had all that stored in the memory banks.
Right. I mean, we felt initially that it was just because he was this legendary guy known as the Hopper.
Just sitting on the bus one day, decided to memorize all the mascots in the minor leagues.
Marisnick hits another one out there deep to left field. That one's gone again. He's hit that ball in the same spot twice. Two-run homers for Jake Marisnick.
Well, on 2 different pitches. The first one 450 feet, 109 miles an hour off the bat. This one a breaking ball, but to the same spot. Marisnick having a night. You see the breaking ball there. Watch where it drops in and where the point of contact is. You see it about mid-thigh right there. Extension out in front of it. Just as he did with the fastball his first time, he does with the breaking ball the second time.
So Marisnick has a big night. Keuchel's up again. 415 feet on this home run for Marisnick. And an 0-2 pitch coming to Keuchel. By the way, just to finish the Burke Badenhop story, last in baseball in 2016, minor league deal with the Rangers. He was released in April. He's co-authored a book, Financial Planning for Your First Job. Aviles on the carom gets the out, and he's been hired by the Diamondbacks as a new baseball operations position. In his new role, he'll perform acquisition-based pitching analysis and sports science work. So that is a good illustration of why the Hopper was able to store all that knowledge. We'll say hi to him when we get to Arizona.
He should go into his new job and show all that knowledge. I think he should go around the office and ask everybody their knowledge of the mascots.
He's got bigger fish to fry.
Well,
now.
I know he does, but I mean, could you imagine showing off like that on your first day of work?
Breaking balls.
How about the people he's working with, or maybe the people who are working for him, or even his, you know, those he's working alongside? Yeah, I love this game of baseball. In fact, I know all the minor league mascots. What do you?
No,
I mean, neither do I. I mean, I would feel guilty for not knowing.
A lot's changed since I was in the minors and you were in the minors.
Long time ago.
George Springer, ladies and gentlemen, has lunch with the fish. And we hope you'll join us tomorrow. Noon start tomorrow, 11:30 for Marlins Live.
Yeah, Marlins Live is brunch with the fish.
That's true. That's a good point.
Saying 11:30.
Yeah, it's tough to eat once the game starts. So you're right. Reddick liner, Ozuna there, and he makes the catch. The onslaught continues. 10-2 Houston. Christian Yelich is well aware of Marisnick. Remember, they were teammates for the Marlins for parts of 2 seasons, and in the minor leagues, and roommates, and they got to the big leagues on the same day. Coors Fields in Denver. Yelich and Marisnick. Yelich had that sweet swing as a rookie. That was quite a thrill for them both. JT Riddle pulls one foul.
2 young guys right there talking to each other. I think that's so fun to see. That first day in the big leagues, I mean, everything that they went through. That was their first day in the big leagues, correct?
Yes.
Butterflies, I'm sure. Every little thing that they were doing right there. Sharing it, sharing those moments.
Marisnick came in that Blue Jay trade, the big one between 12 and 13. And the Marlins sent him to Houston in the Jared Cozart, Kike Hernandez, Austin Waits trade. JT Riddle is 0 for 1. And it's been a tough ride for him against Dallas Keuchel tonight.
Keuchel certainly has hit his stride. Tons of ground balls, 2 strikeouts in between. He's even got his pitch count under control. That's what's so amazing. 7 of his 8 starts this year, 7 innings plus. You know, he's only gone over 100 pitches 3 times. What does that tell you? He's throwing lots of strikes, getting lots of contact, and being quite efficient.
Nick Wickren up. Wickren takes outside. Marshall wants to know, with the new intentional walk rule, is there a hand sign, a light or a phone call or a signal that lets the umpire know? Look at Wickren go. Motoring down that first base line, narrowly missing a base hit.
Almost beating that out. Hustling all the way.
Keuchel has had a comebacker every inning.
I believe that's his 7th of the game.
Here's D. Gordon now. Actually, it's pretty easy about the intentional walk. Manager yells at the home plate umpire, puts 4 fingers up, and that's it. That's not an official, but I think everyone kind of goes with 4 fingers.
I think really everybody else around it has adapted to it, and that's really what it's come down to. You and I talked about it early on in the season. I think we were in Washington talking about the intentional walk and just how it's, you know, it accelerated through everything. Since you don't throw the pitch anymore, the umpire just steers your runner to first base. The next hitter is expected to be in the box and ready to go in about 5 seconds.
Luke wants to know if there'll be a Justin Bour bobble belly rather than a bobblehead. Alex wants to know who you think's a better power hitter, Thames, Judge, or Zimmerman right now.
Judge gets my vote.
Gurriel went a long way. He was out of position, and Gordon is called out. Marlins are going to look at that one. Astros first baseman Yuli Gurriel went a little too far. Altuve just had to get it over, and he's out. Looked like the foot was on the bag, and the ball got to the interior of the glove in time. That's the way the night has gone for Miami. It's 10-2 Houston.
Baseball official team socks brought to you by Stance, and they've got these hats. This one in particular is my favorite. Now, don't forget, when it comes to voting, go to marlins.com to cast your vote for which fish players you think should represent the team in this year's Midsummer Classic. You can vote a total of 35 times, up to 5 times a day, but don't forget, voting ends on June 29th at 11:59 p.m.
Very cool stuff down in the team store. All the all-star gear. You saw the different socks from Stance, the Mother's Day, the Father's Day. Looked like they had the Father's Day, and then those military camo socks as well as caps. That's Memorial Day as well. Fastball and a strike. Carlos Beltran.
Nick Wickren doing a good job getting ahead of hitters. He's coming into the ballgame a couple innings ago.
Altuve and Correa will follow. Shift is on. Beltran, 545 doubles now, and he narrowly misses another one. He is 31st on the all-time doubles list. Seemingly headed to the Hall of Fame. We were running off his resume earlier in the game. The 9 all-star trips. He was an incredible defensive outfielder in his early years before the sands of time took away a lot of the mobility he has. There you go, an Astros fan with a big hat. It's funny. It's a big hat. But
it is a big hat.
You have Beltran. I don't think Beltran's going in the first ballot, but I think Beltran ends up in the Hall of Fame.
I think you said it perfectly. I know a lot of people, you know, it means more to go in the first time, and I agree. I think that it will probably take him a few different years to to get there, but I do think he will get there once his resume. Everybody kind of gets it. So much of this Hall of Fame voting is, what's the class, who's voting, who's voting for who, how many guys are getting in, and as long as you get there, so it matters the most, and I think he does.
Altuve's up. If Altuve stays at it, maybe he gets there as well. He's got a long way to go, but he's off to a good start. 4 All-Stars. He won a Gold Glove. 2 batting titles. He won his 2nd last year. He was third in the MVP voting last year. Played 161 games, 42 doubles, 24 homers, 96 RBIs. And one of the best shows in baseball is when Houston plays Detroit and Miggy and Altuve are on the field at the same time. Teammates in the World Baseball Classic. For Miggy, it's like having a little brother. Altuve walks.
Here's Michael Feliz getting loose in the Astros bullpen. We were talking a little Altuve yesterday. We were both a little on the fence about him getting to the All-Star game, talking that his numbers this year were a little pedestrian to get here to the middle of May based on what he did last year. And he's now reached base 6 of the 9 times. So if he's going to make his push for that All-Star appearance, I think he's well on his way. He's been locked in all series long. And
well, for a guy like Altuve, who was third in the MVP last year, there's a carryover for the fan voting as well. There should be. So
definitely benefits him, but again, it doesn't hurt to be hot as well.
Remember when he first got to the league, he was an internet sensation, not only for his size, for his power, and for measuring things in a new form of measurement, not the metric system, not the standard that we have, but the Altuve system. So they would measure things in Altuves. How many Altuves would it take to go from, say, Houston to Amarillo?
Right.
How many Altuves to the top of Marlins Park? There's a base hit into left field off the bat of Carlos Correa. How many Altuves would fit in a VW microbus headed to a Grateful Dead concert? Stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm trying, pal.
Yeah, when it's 10, it's 10-2, man.
I'm worried, believe me.
It's 10.
I'm grinding over. You know I am. 15th multi-hit game for Carlos Correa right there. It's tied for 3rd in the American League. Starlin Castro and Corey Dickerson. Again, this Astros lineup just continues to turn itself over. Base hit after base hit. I was getting a good glimpse at the best team in the American League here. What they do to those teams in the American League.
McCann takes a strike.
4 RBIs tonight for McCann.
Reading a lot about McCann and his spring and his start and how he really had to revamp his swing out of coming out of Yankee Stadium, which affected his swing. That short porch in right field. He always had such a beautiful stroke to the opposite field when he was in Atlanta Brave. That kind of went away at Yankee Stadium. But it certainly plays that off-field stroke. It certainly plays in Houston.
Well,
with the Crawford boxes.
He gets rewarded. It's a very good point, right? He gets rewarded for that. It's certainly helps to make those adjustments because there is the benefit of picking up a few home runs along the way by going the other way.
And it's shorter in center field this year in Houston. Remember, they've removed Tal's Hill, that hill in center field that went up, and the flagpole that was in play at about 430 feet from home plate.
I do remember it, yes.
They brought it from 439 to 409.
Went up it a few times.
McCann goes to left field, and Ozuna makes a catch. So did you make any catches running up Tal's Hill?
I did.
Did you catch it and roll back down?
I did not.
Spectacular fashion.
Now listen, you've been sitting next to me now for almost 2 months. I'm 6'2", 230 pounds. I don't do too many things gracefully. I hit that hill. I took out a good chunk of it. They had to repair the field the next day. knee hit the ground, took a, the turf was rolling up. I do remember this though, and this is a memory I have of that hill. Craig Biggio raced up there one time and ran into the wall. Ended up getting a triple out of it as he stumbled up that hill.
That's a good Astros memory for you. 10-2 Houston. Marwin Gonzalez coming in from the bullpen. And you never know what you're going to find on the internet, good or bad. We think this is pretty cool, though. How many Altuves.com is a Altuve converter. You can type in length of feet, and it will give you the number of Altuves that you need to, say, go walk to school in the morning.
Actual number of Jose Altuves may vary. Come on.
Depending on how his hair is.
It depends on him?
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
There are some games where Altuve's hair is sticking out. Like tonight, he was just at second base.
So you're going a little Fletch on me here. 6'6", 6'9" with the afro.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yulieski Gurriel is up. Marwin Gonzalez is in for Miami. This was a Tom Koehler start, and it didn't go well. 3 innings, 8 runs, 7 hits. Nick Wickren gave up a Jake Marisnick 2-run homer. Marisnick homered also off of Koehler. And Garcia to face Gurriel. Hit hard. Nice pick by Riddle. And he flips. Gordon is there. That was a BB off the bat of Gurriel.
Nicely done.
tonight, 10-2 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And what a game for Jake Marisnick, having a career high with 4 RBIs and his first ever 2-homer game with Dallas Keuchel on the hill for the first 5 anyhow. Last time Keuchel was on the mound, this was Thursday night, and Marisnick told me this was the greatest defensive play he's had in his career so far. In New York, Sanchez with the single, Jacoby Ellsbury coming over, an absolute perfect throw from left, and it was a winner for the Astros, walk-off style. Defensively, Astros won 3 out of 4 in the series. Like I said, he said, being that it was New York and a walk-off defensive play, yeah, nothing tops that defensively for him. Guys?
Yeah, Craig, he's in a perfect spot as Michael Felice is in now, facing JT Realmuto. He's in a perfect spot because the Astros get such production out of their middle infielders, right? Correa, Altuve, Gurriel at first, that you can put Marisnick in the outfield for a start. He's not a big offensive player, though he is with the 2 home runs tonight. It's like Nori Aoki is in the ball game. Aoki out in left field. And there's a look at Felice. But it's if you had a team that didn't have as much firepower in other positions, it would be harder for the manager, I think, to get Marisnick regular playing time.
Well, and that's the point. Certainly talked about him a little bit earlier. So much value with the glove and what he does. It buys him some time. He's the perfect fit on this type of team. Not to mention he's going to get a ton of playing time that he might not get somewhere else.
We sure could use a Coors cold hard fact. Interleague hits. Miami has 3 on top of that list. The National League leaders.
See it, Yelich, Gordon, and Bohr. The top of that list.
And Yelich goes down for the 3rd time swinging tonight.
See that big arm of Michael Felice. Fastball, slider. Big time fastball. 96, 98 miles an hour. You see that little run right there to the top of the zone. Tough pitch to catch up with. Just getting back to Dallas Keuchel. We talked at the beginning of the ball game how good, how well he's done this year. Getting the ground balls. Talked about the percentages. Get this, 15 outs tonight. A little bit shorter. You see the score of the ball game. A.J. Hinch decided to get him out of there. He has logged over 60 innings already this year. 15 outs tonight. 11 ground ball outs and 4 strikeouts. Not one ball caught in the air tonight.
I don't know what was more amazing, that or watching Keuchel struggle defensively early for a guy that's won 3 Gold Gloves. Remember, he threw that ball away at first and then badly bounced a throw there, but he tightened that up as well as the night went on.
Collectively, that's been the worst inning for the Astros in this series. They looked a little flat when they came out tonight and were quick to get it in gear.
You need some cheering up, right?
Sure.
All right. Thank you for the Marlins winning a ball game on Sunday. It was my 96th birthday as well as Mother's Day. You made my day. Still watching in spite of how badly it's going. Hang in there. The little old lady from Panama City Beach.
Well, thank you for staying with us.
I like the fact that at 96 she knows how to email and work social media.
She is up to speed with the times. She's probably more tech savvy than me.
Yeah, but that's all right. Your kids will help you anytime.
That's true. I do lean on my kids an awful lot.
You'll find that.
I watch my oldest. I mean, they fly through their phones. I'm like, how do you text message again?
Stanton. Leads with a fastball, and it's 0-2. Stanton reached on an error in the first, bounced back to the mound in the fourth. Dallas Keuchel went 5. Michael Felice is pitching here in the 6th. Houston heads home to face the Cleveland Indians this weekend. Marlins, of course, in Los Angeles Thursday night. Starts a 4-gamer. Stanton rung up on a fastball there. And the Marlins are done in the 6th. All Astros. As this game has gone along, Rich Waltz along with Todd Hollinsworth, Craig Minervini, Jessica Blaylock. 3 things to know about the New York Yankees. Scoring a lot of runs. Aaron Judge, 14 homers. And in all likelihood, Aaron Judge will be in this ballpark the night before the All-Star game in the home run hitting contest in the home run derby.
Did you see that clip of the video I sent you a little earlier today on Aaron Judge on his performance on the Tonight Show?
Yes.
Did you find that as entertaining as I did?
Yes.
That's pretty fun stuff.
Yeah. He's turning out to be quite the New York sensation.
I completely agree. For those who didn't see it, Aaron Judge kind of posed as a newsman, asking people questions about the Yankees and trying to get their impressions of the early success. It's amazing how many people referenced the Judge without actually acknowledging the fact that he was sitting right next to them.
Marwin Gonzalez is up there. I like the fact that fans at Yankee Stadium come wearing the robe, right? the Judge robe. It's very nice. It's a great touch.
I completely agree. A lot of fun. And I love the fact that he's embracing all of this.
Gonzalez. Avila sets himself, fires across the diamond, makes a nice play. All right, Todd Hollinsworth, we've waited until the 7th for you and for this. Guns N' Roses returns to South Florida with their Not in This Lifetime tour. The legendary band storms into Marlins Park August 8th. It's your chance to enter the jungle. Get your tickets at marlins.com/GNR. Jake Marisnick has entered the jungle with 2 homers and now a ball in the gap. He's not stopping Marisnick on his way to second. The man can run.
Oh, that was personal. Come on.
So first double of the season to go with a couple of homers, and his former roomie out there in center field, Christian Yelich, ran it down.
Well, I probably shouldn't have said that without asking him first, but I couldn't help but think it. I mean, who didn't, right? I mean, this is a 10-2 ball game right now, everybody, but he knows where his buddy is. He knows he's out there in center field. Look at the bat. See how quick he gets through the zone right there. He does not stop around first base. There was zero hesitation on this ball. Cusses himself into second. Third hit of the ball game. Wearing out a path to center field tonight. Just to the left of center field.
Here is Aoki, who came in the double switch for Beltran. And so the pitcher is in Beltran's spot, which is second in the order. 2 hitters away. And Garcia gets a strike.
You see the multi-homer game from Marisnick, the first of his career. Career high 4 RBIs tonight. It's pretty quiet on the field right now.
It is. You can hear the home plate umpire, Chris Siegel,
Crystal clear.
discussing things with JT Realmuto. Aoki has had an interesting path through the big league since coming over from Japan. It's his 6th year in Major League Baseball. He broke in with Milwaukee, was there a couple of years. Kansas City in 2014. Of course, the Royals that year got to the World Series and lost to the Giants. So the next year, Aoki ends up with the Giants, 2015. Seattle last year, where he hit .283 and 24 doubles. Swings and misses at a 95-mile-an-hour fastball from Harlan Garcia.
See Garcia working up in the zone right there, gets it above the belt at 94. Aoki, small strike zone, actually likes that ball down. Nice job by Garcia to put him away.
Garcia gets Josh Reddick now.
Reddick in the leadoff spot tonight. Got everything going on the first pitch of the ball game. Lined it into right center field. Set up what would be a 3-run first inning. The Astros have not looked back.
They haven't looked back since leaving Palm Beach in spring training. Liner into center field, and Reddick's going to drive home Marisnick. So it's 11-2. Reddick seems to be enjoying his stay here at Houston after finishing last year with the Dodgers, an injury-filled season.
Well, they did make some moves that made sense to a lot of people around baseball. The Houston Astros have done this over the last few seasons, but they also made a few moves that were a little bit surprising. And I think for a lot of people, Josh Reddick and the 4-year deal that he got was surprising to a lot of people around baseball. And it's not on Josh Reddick's career. It was just based on what happened last year. He has made them look very good here in year 1 so far. Charlie Morton being another one added to the rotation. It's been very good for them.
Well, the American League West right now, everybody's upside down except for Houston. That is strike 3 called. Down goes Phillies. Add another to Houston's total. Teams. How about the Cleveland Indians? Francisco Lindor.
Pretty good ball club. A lot of people maybe surprised at 20-17. You see it right there. Half game back in the American League Central. I think a lot of people really believe they're going to end up running away with this division, but a bit of a slow start. Would you call it World Series hangover? It seems to happen to everybody nowadays. We see the teams that played in the previous year's World Series seemingly get off to what we would call a slow start in the following season.
Some would say it's fatigue, especially when you look at pitching for those teams because of the extra month workload for the frontline starters and the frontline relievers.
To that point, the Chicago Cubs at 18 and 19 have the 5th most bullpen innings. You remember that rotation that the Cubs have: Jake Arrieta, John Lester, John Lackey. They are so talented. 5th most bullpen innings in baseball.
Tyler Moore bounces out to third.
Kyle Hendricks. Goodness.
And here comes Micah Vilas, Houston's bullpen active. They shut Dallas Keuchel down after 5 innings, and the game was well in hand. Anything you can do to conserve innings? Well, Dustin McGowan is up. There's a strike. Tony Sipp in the Houston pen. There he is, live from camera 12, working with us tonight. Camera 12.
Up close and personal in the bullpen.
Camera 12 is the camera that is rarely utilized. And when it is, it's usually in the Clevelander. I mean, literally in the Clevelander.
He throws a split finger fastball. Good grip.
There it is. That's camera 12. That is Jay.
Michael Feliz not very happy with himself right there. Vilas take the walk.
Marlins box score pops up, and so does A.J. Hinch. Tony Sipp, come on down. 11-2 Houston. It on top. A variety of emails and tweets. Jim from Davie has this. When's the earliest a 10-run reel has come on in the season? If we can't see the 10-run reel, can we see Jessica and her attempt at eating a grasshopper earlier this year in Seattle? Many fans probably have not seen that. Many fans were asleep when that happened, right? Didn't that happen late night with the fish?
I don't necessarily need to see it again because I lived it, but for the enjoyment of all of the fans out there, I say let's play it.
So you will sign the waiver?
I signed the waiver. Let's do it.
All right, and appropriately you wore your grasshopper outfit.
My grasshopper green.
Grasshopper green. Like it. Like it. All right, well, we'll get there in a second. JT Riddle's up, and he's facing Tony Sipp. It's 11-2. Astros on this email and Twitter Tuesday have run away with this. Now, just some background on that. We were in Seattle, and that's the new food at the concession stand in Seattle were grasshoppers. And so the question for a couple weeks was, would Jessica try the grasshoppers? Riddle rifles one into the seats. And my partner Todd Hollinsworth said, well, hey, if she tries them, I'll try them. This is Jess eating a grasshopper.
I just...
No.
It's just a bad effort right here.
No.
Yes. Chili sauce gets you, though.
I will not be eating any more of these.
I love that. This is like a Dr. Seuss book. I will not eat more of these grasshoppers. No.
Well, she grabbed a thorax.
Yeah, you don't want to start with a thorax. Maybe an antenna, but the thorax is...
Maybe that was my mistake, but give me credit. I'm not a quitter. Even though the grasshopper was disgusting, I pushed through it, and I at least finished it.
Riddle swings and misses. Well, Jess, I was in the booth when they brought him to the booth, and Todd just dug right in.
Eating the leg.
And crushed him.
He really did. He said, what part do you want me to try? And I actually, when I first opened it up, there was a head with antennas sitting at the very top of the pile. I think that's what I gave him first to try. But then, Todd, you seem to have a like for the grasshoppers because you went that several times.
Did you hear that? There's a little explosion right there. That was the thorax that I found.
That's the worst part about it.
Well, inappropriate now. We're talking Seattle, and Ichiro is up. Todd would wash that down with a fine craft Northwest beer. A little pale ale, I think.
I will say.
From the Pyramid Brewery,
right.
and that helps the thorax go down.
That chili sauce was hot, though. Oof. Spicy.
Ichiro guides a ground ball out to second. Altuve gobbles it up and gets him at first. And Miami is done in the bottom of the seventh. No. Yeah, there you go. tomorrow. Lance McCullers, Jose Urena. Marlins live at 11:30. Set your device, your timer, your tablet, your watch. That's an emotional Lance McCullers. And that's tomorrow, 12 o'clock first pitch. We'll have it for you here on Fox Sports Florida. Emails and tweets tonight. Rich Welts along with Todd Hollinsworth, Jessica Blaylock, Craig Minervini, and Jeff Conine will shortly be out in their center field cage in a two-man cage match for Marlins Live tonight. Changes. We saved that shell from spring training, I think. Just throw them up there. Tyler Moore in left, Ichiro in center, Mike Aviles is in right. Yeah, we knew we'd see JT Real Muto over at first base.
It's funny, I was thinking about that pregame today, and well, here he is.
A.J. Ellis is hot behind the plate. And Dustin McGowan is in. McGowan a couple innings last night. Gave up a run on 2 hits. Pitching here in the 8th.
Bregman picking up the pinch hit for the Astros.
Altuve gets the rest of the night off.
Washington Nationals are beating the Pirates right now, 6-1 in Pittsburgh, bottom 7.
What are the headlines in Major League Baseball? Are there, because oftentimes there's a screaming headlines, and all I can find are stories about Aaron Judge on the Tonight Show. What else is out there? A female pitcher is going to play in college. In a college league this summer. Theo Epstein calls for calm as Cubs find their footing. The Pirates signed an 18-year-old pitcher from China, Hai Cheng Gong. We heard about him when we were over in Japan, the World Baseball Classic. That one fouled at the plate. Matt Kemp drove in 4. Braves beat the Jays again, 9-5. Dansby Swanson is all of a sudden heated up. Yeah. Remember the Marlins saw that? He homered in that ball game.
I believe Mike Trout's homered in 4 straight ball games since coming back from a little layoff. Rekindling the great debate, which I always find so fascinating. Who is the better player, Bryce Harper or Mike Trout?
Dustin McGowan got the glove down, gets Bregman out.
Answer is either.
Either or. Yeah, the Nationals are beating Pittsburgh 6-1, bottom 7. Cubs 4-3 over Reds, top 5. Phillies getting shut out by the Rangers 2-0, bottom 5. Mets are in Arizona to face Zach Greinke. How about the Rockies?
Yeah, that's a good one. There you go. How about bring them up?
Have we talked about the Rockies yet? Because they're 24-15, and I know they kind of get ignored in the Mountain Time Zone.
Well, I don't know if they get ignored in the Mountain Time Zone.
I mean they get ignored because they're in the Mountain Time Zone. Not in the Mountain, but because they're in the Mountain.
Right.
Sorry about that.
Well, people in Denver certainly love their Rockies, no doubt about it.
Throw that up there again, if you would. I wanted to see the name on the very bottom there. How about Derek Holland?
Yeah.
16 saves.
16 for 16 in saves. How about this? I mean, there's a couple things that really stand out and I find very interesting about this Rockies team. You see the 24-15 record. How about this? They're better on the road than they are at home right now. 11-5 on the road. They played very well against their division. 1-run ball games, 9-0 right now to start the season. It's interesting. They only have a 7-run differential, runs scored, runs allowed, yet their record is 24-15.
You saw Mark Reynolds' name up there. I think Mark Reynolds' agent in the offseason only calls teams with great hitter ballparks, right?
He's got tremendous power.
Yeah, he does, but
Power
he
plays in those ballparks.
He always seems to find his way into one of those
Sure he does.
ballparks, right?
Well, it depends on where you set the bar financially, or really kind of like what you're looking for. And Mark has never, he's never really overstepped his boundaries, so to speak.
He's smart. He's ended up in great places to hit. And
That's exactly right.
He's done that.
Baltimore Orioles, Colorado Rockies, Arizona Diamondbacks.
Right, that's my point.
No, I knew it all along, right?
Pretty soon he's going to be in Philly.
Sure.
And then Cincinnati.
That's right. Going to a home run hitter's park near you.
McGowan looks good, and you tip your cap to Dustin McGowan, who threw 2 innings last night, back out here tonight. The Marlins, a short start from Tom Koehler. Nick Whitgren threw 2 2/3 innings. Harlan Garcia, an inning and a third. And the Marlins having to piece this together, and McGowan works a really nice inning. A little soft toss over to JT Realmuto at first. 11-2 Astros. Eight in Miami. D. Gordon coming to the plate. All right, Todd Hollinsworth, this will be fun for you going back as a broadcaster.
Yes.
Dodger Stadium. And the Dodgers are 22-17. 2 games back in the National League West.
Well, they're looking to find their stride. Certainly some things that stand out. They have Clayton Kershaw. They have a good team. They got some good young players. Cody Bellinger, Corey Seager. They have not hit their stride yet. You see that team ERA. They can pitch, lots of depth. Offensively, they've had their struggles, I guess, at times. You'd say compared to last year, a little bit better against the lefties, but that's definitely one thing that stands out. Very left-handed lineup. Justin Turner, who's their big right-handed bat, is off to a fantastic start, hitting up near 360 this year.
There is Alex Bregman. Justin Turner, one of the more incredible transformations in baseball over the last few years, from, I don't want to say Punch and Judy, but an inside-out hitter who was barely hanging on, released, I believe, 3 times by major league teams. And now, whether it was Kevin Long and with the Mets, I don't know who transformed his swing. All of a sudden, a power hitter and a star. And as you pointed out, you just used the word slugger.
Yeah.
I don't think the word Justin Turner and slugger were ever used in a sentence before maybe 2 years ago.
Well, I was just thinking back to his time with the Mets, and even what his role was with the Mets. See him now; he is a star.
D. Gordon is
in the National League.
1 for 3. And he pulls it. It's a foul ball. First base umpire DJ Rayburn made that call. Counts 1-2. Yep. Foul ball.
That split finger. Tony Sipp, we saw him throwing it in camera 12 an inning ago.
We've had actually a couple of tweets about camera 12 and how does a camera person draw that assignment. Who decides which camera person gets camera 12? Liner to right. Reddick, a sliding catch. Yes, he's won a Gold Glove back in 2012 with Oakland.
Good read right there, able to keep the lights out of his eyes. I think that's why he put himself down. Even look at that, almost turned his head away at the last second. Had a good idea where it was coming down.
Christian Roberts is our critically acclaimed director. Works well with our producer John Sulzer, who is generally well regarded.
Generally.
And Christian apparently selects the assignment for camera 12. It's an honor that very few get.
An honor for camera 12?
Oh, without question.
Privilege?
Oh yeah, you get to hang out in the Clevelander the whole game. Sipp fires first base, and Real Muto is out. And Jay apparently was the selection for tonight.
So let me get this straight. So Christian kind of like writes out a lineup every day. Is that how that goes? Like he's got a lineup. Camera, you've got camera 12. You've got camera 11.
Yeah, there's Jay right now. Now Jay's out, apparently outside of the Clevelander now. We would suggest maybe going back in the Clevelander, but then again, we're not the critically acclaimed directors that Christian Roberts.
Well, I have a lot of questions about the draw, so remind me. I'll have to ask Christian tomorrow.
Real Muto out number 2. It's plenty of time on the flight to Los Angeles, pal.
I'm curious about the draw. Like, can Christian be bribed to a better draw?
That's against Fox policy.
Oh, is it right?
Even discuss those. Ellis fouls it back. Ellis hitting in the 3 spot. Tony Sipp. This, of course, was a Dallas Keuchel start, and he actually was mortal in the first inning. He gave up 2 runs. Ellis knocks one to right. Reddick,
my goodness,
in pursuit is there. And a line drive out ends Miami's 8th inning. runs, 4 hits. Houston on top of Miami. All right, other teams you may want to know about in terms of best teams in baseball. Buck Showalter and the Fighting Birds. Baltimore is 22-14. And of course, a Miami guy, Manny Machado, helps drive that engine.
They have a very potent lineup, lots of power top to bottom, hit lots of home runs. The only concern with this Baltimore team probably is a question that has been asked of them over the last handful of seasons is, does their starting pitching hang in there? So far this season it is, but will it last all season? How about Zach Britton? That's the other question you have to ask yourself in regards to the Baltimore Orioles.
Live every day like it's Twitter Tuesday. He gets it.
He does.
David Phelps. Phelps gets Yuri Gurriel. Breaking ball starts the at-bat. Gurriel, who wrecked the night last night for Miami with a grand slam in the 6th. Also had a double. Tonight is 0 for 4 on a night where the Astros have a dozen hits and 11 runs.
Let's jump in on the great work that David Phelps has been doing over his last 9 ball games. Absolutely outstanding. Not a lot of run in those 9 outings. Just 1 hit with 8 strikeouts.
Gurriel has a kind of a unique stance, especially when you watch from center field. Sometimes you'll look in to see who's up, and you won't quite notice or recognize the batting stance. But from center field, if you look through the pitcher's view, you know it's Gurriel because he turns his back so much that you can read his whole name. Look at that. Not often that you can see both numbers and the name of a hitter.
Well, it really has that front shoulder turned in. In some ways you can almost say wrapping the bat, but it's not it doesn't have to be a bad thing if it works for you. And you see how he opens up his front side there.
Hey, it works pretty well for him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's it. Here's the thing. I know so many young coaches, you know, different things. I was told many times as a young man, even in the minor leagues, you want to keep your shoulders square. I mean, hitting is all about timing, and as long as you get your front foot down on time and you start your swing, you can do this right here. Pull your hands in and hit a 92-mile-an-hour cutter back through the middle. Now, I'm not saying everybody can do that, but my point is that he was on time with his swing.
It's amazing how quickly it went from Gurriel to Houston.
Yep.
From the back of his jersey to the front of his jersey as he pulled the hands through.
Well, at the age of 32, I mean, do you think he doesn't know his swing inside and out by this point in his career? You do. He knows how it works for him.
Marwin Gonzalez is up. He has 2 hits. He's 2 for 3. And Phelps with a breaking ball for a strike.
Interestingly enough, Gonzalez is very similar to. It's a different approach. Holds his hands differently, but also has that front shoulder really turned in. It's working for Marwin as well this year. See, he doesn't actually start there nearly as much, but as the pitch is on its way, that front shoulder really starts to close. Kids at home trying to read his name on the back of his jersey. You'll see. He starts his swing. He's going to close that front shoulder. Get that front down, get that front foot down, and start his swing and prepare himself to attack the strike zone. There it is.
One and 2. Jose Urena, Lance McCullers. McCullers 3-1, a 2.98 ERA. That's tomorrow. Urena's ERA 1.98. 11:30 for Marlins Live And a noon first pitch. Pitch misses in. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. MLB.TV Premium. If you want to watch every out-of-market game in high definition on your iPad as you're on your boat cruising around, you might even see Babe Ruth and Giancarlo Stanton sitting together. Go to MLB.TV and sign up today. High definition, all those games. You hear all the different announcers. You see all the different ballparks. And you do it in true HD. And believe me, you can watch it on your phone if you have one of those Apple iWatches that gets internet. Pop it on there.
Watch it on your watch?
Yeah, I mean, it's not very big in terms of Altuve's screen size,
Well
but it works.
Nicely done.
Gonzalez swings and misses. And he goes down. Toyota brings you an inside look. In-game box score, Astros. All right, what you lose there is Carlos Beltran was in the 2 spot. He didn't do much damage, but Correa, McCann, Gonzalez. Look at Jake Marisnick. 3 for 4, 2 two-run homers off of the home run sculpture in left center.
Now you have 2 players, 2 Astros, Brian McCann and Marisnick, 4 RBIs in this game. A lot of that traffic was set up by good at-bats and some singles around them, but
last night it was Gurriel with a 4 RBI game.
Right. So think about that for a second.
The only surprise here is that the Astros haven't hit a grand slam, because they had hit a grand slam in consecutive games. Remember, they had the grand slam last night by Gurriel, and then Bregman had hit a slam. Look at that name, El Caballo.
Carlos Lee.
There was a time where El Caballo Nation had their own county in the Houston area. They were so big. Carlos Lee had a lot of grand slams. That's a John Chimchuk. He may have even had one for Miami. El Caballo Nation was a great rooting section with the guy with the wild mustache in Houston. Lance Berkman's fan club was out there too. That's a strike. 17 grand slams for Carlos Lee. 7th in Major League history. What was the name of Berkman's, the guys in the Puma suits?
That's right.
I remember the day Craig went out there and donned not the entire Puma getup, but he had the gloves on, the Puma gloves.
Big Puma.
Yes.
Big Puma.
That was the nickname.
That was his nickname, wasn't it?
He gave it to himself.
Oh, did he? It's even better.
He didn't like the other nicknames that were given to him.
Big Puma.
And Craig, I remember doing the report, had trouble scoring with the gloves on,
right,
as he was trying to keep score at the same time. That's strike 3.
You don't.
And the Marlins get Marisnick out.
You don't mock the Big Puma.
No.
That's a no-no. Just like you don't mess with alligators in Florida. You don't mock the Big Puma. Even if there's one on your doorstep, you leave it alone.
You've learned already.
I have.
That's good. That's good.
Here's Nawarchika Aoki. 2 outs here in the top of the 9th.
Aoki takes a strike. think for a lot of the generation of hitters, especially the left-handed hitters in Japan, many of them mimicked or tried to mimic Ichiro's swing without a whole lot of success, to be honest with you. It's so unique in the way he moves and lunges forward. It's not a technique that's taught, but Ichiro has been able to make it work quite well. Mostly his pre-pitch stance was one that was copied. That one is out of the reach of Gordon and into center field. Aoki has a hit. Gurriel ends up at third base.
Just past the diving D. Gordon. Good effort by D. See how that ball even spins kind of away from him. Inside outs it right there. Still 2 outs here in the 9th. Opportunity to get out of this without any damage. Now, you're absolutely right about Ichiro in that swing, and I think it's so interesting. It's very, very difficult. You realize the timing of his front side is something that only he could do. Many of us try different types of leg kicks and different things to work, to work on our timing on our front side and try different swings. And one thing you realize is that it's very hard to stay in rhythm with that.
Riddle, tough hop, and he'll have to eat it on a sharp ground ball off the bat of Josh Reddick.
Able to get himself in front of it. You see the hop right there, kind of comes up as hard as it was hit, jumps off the heel of his glove right there. Not able to get his hands up with it. That'll be an error.
So an error on Riddle.
Error on Riddle, yeah.
It's 12-2, Houston on top. By the way, the Lance Berkman fan club was the Little Pumas.
That's right.
Out in center field at the juice box.
Minute Maid Park, right?
Yes. Tony Sipp gets an AB here. Pascagoula, Mississippi. Sipp with a little pop out in the shallow center. Gordon's out, Ichiro's in. Ichiro makes the catch. And the Astros limited to 1 in the 9th. Bottom 9 rolls around. And it's 12-2. West. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Jeep, get great deals on the Jeep lineup at the Jeep Spring Clearance event and by your South Florida Honda dealers. 12-2, Houston on top. Do you know how long it took us to get the camera in there and to waterproof it?
Nope.
Well before your time, pal. It's been a long time in the making.
Okay.
Here's Derek Dietrich.
I will accept that answer.
Dietrich getting the at-bat in Ozuna's spot. Justin Bour's on deck. Dietrich pulls one foul. And the count 0-2. Dallas Keuchel is going to go to 7-0. Keuchel gave up 2 runs, both of them earned. 5 innings of work. Michael Felice went an inning and a third. This is Tony Sipp into his 3rd inning. Of course, for the Marlins, it was a Tom Koehler start, and it was a struggle from the very start. He walked 4, all 4 scored in just 3 innings, 7 hits, 8 runs, and struck out 3. The ERA for Koehler sits at 7.04. Keuchel's ERA actually went up in this game to 1.84. Nick Wickren, Harlan Garcia, Dustin McGowan for an inning, David Phelps for an inning as well.
Sprayed foul down the left field line.
Nice play.
Hanging in there. Well done.
Don't get a lot of action sometimes.
Right. Keuchel on the mound tonight. Everything was on the ground.
That's right. Why even stock a guy down there, right? Until Keuchel comes out.
Looks like his rotator cuff's hurting. Let's hope that's not the case. He's ready to go. He's on his game.
Two, and Dietrich drives one left center. Aoki is there, and he makes the catch.
Here comes the hot hitting Justin Bour. Pick up in a bat here in the 9th.
Yeah, Bour has been hot, that's for sure. 3 for 4 last night with a homer and a double. Bour homered as well on Saturday and on Friday, and then all the way back to Wednesday. He's been having much better at bats against lefties, though he pops this one up on the infield. Gurriel drops it.
Sure did.
The gnashing of teeth.
Well, he seemingly was underneath this pretty well, ready to make a catch right there, and just kind of catches it off the end. You even see that second hand up there to help him secure the catch.
And I'm sure somewhere there's a 12-year-old who turns to his mother and maybe father and says, see, look, even happens in the major leagues.
Will do it. He did everything right, other than, well, I mean, I'm not going to dare say he wasn't right underneath the baseball, but you saw the second hand up there. This wasn't Gurriel showboating or trying to, make a special one-handed catch.
Tyler Moore fouls one off. Moore getting the start tonight against the lefty Keuchel. Has bounced out on the ground all 3 times up.
Weird lines tonight for the Houston Astros. 12 runs, 14 hits, 3 errors. It's not turned into a lot of offensive production for the Marlins. 2 runs they scored in the first inning. Astros have scored in 5 innings tonight. Excuse me, 6 innings tonight.
Oh-2 pitch to Tyler Moore. This has been a struggle at home for the Marlins. Obviously, this stretch of 2.5, 3 weeks has sent them to the basement of the East. But it also has turned their home record upside down.
Getting home, this Marlins team spent a great deal of the first 3 weeks of the season on the road. I know that there was just this incredible optimism to get home and play good baseball here at Marlins Park. It's fortunately been the opposite effect. Come home on this homestand, barring a incredible rally here in the 9th inning, will fall to 1-7 on the homestand.
Aviles, another at bat against the lefty. He's 0 for 2 with a walk.
Oh, no.
And it doesn't get a whole lot easier. Lance McCullers is off to a nice start. One of the good quality arms in the American League.
Oh, most definitely. Big breaking ball. Very good. One of the better breaking balls in the American League. High velocity to go along with it. High energy guy. Houston Astro fans very excited to see Koehler and McCullers make 30+ starts for the first time.
Change up from Sipp. And that gets Aviles, and this one is over. The Astros finish the deed. Dallas Keuchel is the winner, and the Marlins drop another one and fall 10 games under now at 14-24. The Astros, the best in baseball, have won 13 of their last 16 and sit riding high in the American League West at 28-12. Marlins Live post game. We turn it over after this.